This is already devolved.
No! Why is this not working? God, it's already over.
It's amateur hour here.
Jesus, this is what happens when we take a week off.
It's been like 4 weeks.
It's been 4 weeks, yeah. Yeah,
It's not normal for me.
We're already putting in comments. He the hoe!
Hi, Mom. Hi, Katie.
Yeah.
I don't know. We're back. There's all three of us.
We have a hot water heater.
We have a new water heater.
There's a dishwasher downstairs.
There's a new dishwasher.
I'm in the country, which is cool.
Yeah, Brandon's here.
Our evaporative cooler works.
Our swamp cooler works.
We got some good ribs yesterday.
Yeah, and we got chicken marinating right
chicken
now.
marinating right now.
And
we have literally, I kid you not, 30 shots right next to us.
We do.
Grab it, bring it in view. Show the people what we're not gonna do all of because we will die. But I mean,
and that doesn't even count
the ones
the ones that are in front of us. That's what I worked on yesterday. Shots. Oh, that and vinegar barbecue sauce.
Oh yeah, that's my favorite sauce that you make.
Oh,
hello, Frederico.
Hey.
I had to think about 13.7 paralleles for a moment.
We're international.
Yes. Yeah, we're international.
We're international.
We're intergalactic.
I wish. It'd be great. Planetary.
Mm-hmm. Well, at least major photons interstellar almost.
That's true. Oh yeah, we haven't done it.
We gotta check out major photon sometime soon.
We do need to check on major.
How many years has it been?
And then do a
It's been
recap
over a
of
year.
it since we haven't talked about
so he's over a light year. So he's probably still in New York cloud. Well, no.
I don't know. Maybe something to figure out. Maybe we can figure out for the Hangover.
Well, first of all, we need to know when.
It's on top. We made sure that we leave a note there.
Oh, so it's 2 years.
It left March 22nd, 2020.
2 years? It's 2 light years away.
It's 2.
Wow.
It's 2.25 light years away.
Wow.
So there we go. There's our major photon update.
Major photon, our imaginary photon we launched.
And May 22nd, 2020.
All right, are we ready?
Sure.
Yeah, we're ready.
Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Cosmos with Cosmos. As always, I'm Mike.
I'm Liz.
I'm Brandon.
We actually have Brandon in the house this time.
Hey.
But not next time, so, and enjoy it while you can. Today, what are we talking about today?
We're talking about
ISS!
Yeah!
Space Station!
Yes, the International Space Station.
What's it doing? What's it about? Will it last forever? What's going on? How do you poop in space?
Yes, I have just questions. That's all I came up with. It's just questions. And
me and Liz will be the
It'll be Brandon.
Space Station
experts.
Brandon's the fancy ISS man.
What was the one that going to the bathroom. I was like, that's the one you have to answer.
Oh, yeah, I was going to talk about going to the bathroom.
You get the bathroom.
All right, but before we start talking about...
Jack's listening. He's driving home.
Oh, we're on the airwaves. All right, very good. All right, so before we get started with our space station, what's everybody drinking?
I am drinking. I am drinking.
So for those of you on the podcast, Liz has a very fancy sippy cup. And she pushed a button, and it just slowly opened up like it's some kind of spacecraft. It looks really cool,
My
actually.
mom got these for us for Christmas, so thanks, Mom. We're using them.
But it's July.
I know.
We had stuff in it before, though.
I am drinking the water recovery system because we're on the ISS. I forgot what I named it.
I'm really glad that you put it in the notes
Uh-huh.
because I'm like, I'm not going to worry about names.
I know. It's basically lemonade and black cherries and vodka.
Vodka.
Cherry vodka.
Cherry vodka
Cherry vodka.
blended together in a slushy mixture of deliciousness.
Very cool.
Is it slushy, you know?
Yeah, it barely comes out of this tiny little space hole.
Well, you might...
Very excellent muchacho. Brochacho, sorry.
All right, what are you drinking?
I am drinking gyroscopic reactionary wheel.
Hey!
Hey! You did change the name.
I did. I got a big old ice ball in there that reminded me of a reactionary wheel because that's how they kind of angle themselves on the space station, which we can talk about.
That's the clear one, too, isn't
Mm-hmm.
it? All right, very good. And I am...
Oh, do I need to say what my drink is?
Oh,
Yeah.
It's tequila, mezcal, some bitters, and a bit of orange juice.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I am drinking, it's not International Space Station name related. I know, but I saw this. I saw it with my dad. We went outside, we looked up, there it was. Mine is called Skylab.
Skylab.
Oh, Skylab.
That's really cool. That's very space station related.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's not ISS. It is. It's like it was our first space station, right, for the U.S.
And you saw it, which is really cool.
Yeah, and I saw it.
What's in your drink? You've been forgetting to tell what's in your drink recently.
What's in my drink is I'm gonna be dead by the end of this. We have 30 shots, and in here in my Skylab, I have vodka, I have rum, I have tequila, I have gin, triple sec,
Oh my God.
and lemon juice, and top it off with some Coke.
So this is Mike's last show on Cosmos.
Good thing you ate a lot more than we did before the show.
I told you guys to eat.
We had a banana.
We had some chips.
I
Some
actually
cashews.
might be okay. You guys might be messed
Well,
up.
That's all right.
We'll
we got,
find
we
out,
got lots of
'cause-
chicken and.
Because even before we start more, we do have 30 shots to get through.
Should we take one?
And to be fair to those on the podcast, these are Jello shots because you can't just take regular shots on the space station. We're assuming it could be Jello-fied.
People are thinking we're throwing dice.
Is that what it sounds like?
All right, but before we have this, though, shout out to Katie having RGB themed beer. Yes, to RGB.
And the 3 remaining
And
justices.
God, we
women
fucking need you.
Everywhere. Oh yeah. Oh God. How do you do this?
I made too much.
It's like what? Everything for this. A lot of Jello. It's like when people are feeding penguins in the bucket and the penguins just go to town. That's what it reminded us of, right? Reminded me of.
Meanwhile,
We have
all of us in this room are over 35. No, 30.
Wait a minute.
Meanwhile, we have 27 more of these to
When
go.
did that happen?
Oh, hey, you want to put that
You'll
over
get
there?
I
there.
do. I hope so.
All right.
Anyway,
Sorry. Apologize. All right, so follow us on all the things, all the social media things, Twitter with
Slow it
Drinking Cosmos, Instagram,
Insta. Oh yeah, the kids just call it Insta these days.
Or
Insta,
the gram.
Or the gram.
the gram.
I mean, Mike with his Coke, and now we're getting the gram, so it makes sense.
That is basically everything else is Cosmos.
Yeah.
So follow us on all the things, rate us on all the things, like us, tell your neighbors, tell your friends. Don't tell your conservative friends because they need some education, and maybe we can change their minds on
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
perspectives.
Listen to our Bleeding Heart liberal soapbox
Yeah.
during the Hangover.
I want to get a soapbox. No, like a literal soapbox.
Yeah.
I want to get one.
Do they make those anymore?
I'll just get
Well,
a
I'm
box
sure we
to
can
write
find
soap on
one.
it.
Oh, that's true.
Don't forget to join us for the hangover after our main podcast. And yeah, also, if you are on Etsy, check out Wildixia. Katie stuff, really cool stuff. I was the first one to buy stuff, and I'm going to mention that every single time.
Link in the description. Wildixia, Wildixia. Check it out.
You can also check out Ron Proctor's stuff on YouTube, and just search for him. He has a lot of great educational stuff.
Link also in the description.
And he did our music for
Hey.
The Hangover.
Uh-huh.
So, also, every other Wednesday,
We have so many things.
coming up in a week and a
Shots,
half, right?
shots,
is the shots.
shots.
Little tiny drink portions of
Shot size,
Cosmos-
morsels
shot-
of sciencey
Cosmos with Cosmos.
goodness.
I think they shot-size versions of shots.
We just had one come out about Holocaust survivor that Brandon did. That's a really good one. And next Wednesday, we have a fun little bear story that'll be out.
You're just spoiling this, aren't you?
Well, you know, I mean, it's in the
Hey, we got to make some more though. We gotta
Actually,
make
no,
some
wait.
more.
Maybe Jocelyn Burnell Bell's next. I don't remember.
All right.
check it
Anyway, we'll find out. We'll find out in a week and a half. Also, always as rules, any kind of puppy bark, please take a drink, and any Star Wars reference and any Lord of the Rings reference. And I'm looking at you. You take a drink. You're the one who did the Lord of the Rings reference
I'm not gonna say
quicker than we will.
I'm not going to
That's
say
true.
anything, otherwise it'll be a Lord of the Rings reference. So I'll avoid that situation.
All right, so let's just kind of hop into it. So, like I said, I'll be asking a lot of questions today. You guys will be answering those questions,
And you will also be
educating the
talking as
world.
well.
No, yes, I will be talking, and then I'll be asking the questions. So, first question, throw it out to anybody. What is ISS?
Intrepid, spacey sciencer.
Nice. All right, let's go to the next. Oh, that's not it.
Quick, no, I buzzed in.
Okay,
So
all right.
We're in jeopardy with these questions.
Brandon.
What
so
is?
I'm buzzing. What is the International Space Station?
All right. Yes, you are right.
So, the International Space Station is, of course, our outpost in low Earth orbit and outer space. It is roughly the size of a football field, NASA likes to
That's
say.
right, I always
and
forget.
they always like to remind us on Twitter during the Super Bowl, that's like the only thing they put out every year, is here is the giant space station, and right behind it is an overlay of a football
Of the
field.
football field.
It's kind of like a meme at this point with NASA folk. But it is 234 feet width and obviously over 100 yards across, and it weighs over 980,000 pounds in mass.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's structured in such a way, which we'll go over this later, that it cannot be built on Earth. Because it's in microgravity, so it doesn't have gravity forces constantly around it. If you brought it down to Earth with its gravity, the thing would just fall apart.
Okay, I never thought about that before. Just the weight of it and that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why in
okay.
Star Trek 1, the motion picture, they're rebuilding the Enterprise in space because you can't actually build
Can't
it
build it on
Earth.
All right, gravity's a hindrance.
Right. I think we need. All right. I don't have it in this, but I do think that we need to talk about gravity, because the International Space Station.
Movie?
No, the International Space Station. Oh God, but that would apply. The International Space Station feels gravity.
Yes.
And so the gravity that it feels is about 90% of what we feel
Yeah.
here. So it is actually experiencing
Right,
gravity.
and that's why the key word is microgravity.
Right, and so, but it is in free fall.
Mm-hmm.
And so that free fallness is what allows the astronauts to float, quote unquote, weightless up
This is
in
my
the space
notation.
station.
Now, if it's a free fall, why doesn't it hit the Earth?
Because it's going just fast enough, it misses it.
Exactly.
It's like, woo, oh, there, oh, no,
Yep.
no.
So not only is it falling straight down due to gravity, it also has a speed to the side, and
The Earth curves underneath it, and
and
it
so
just misses it.
that speed is what was it, like 17,000?
17,400 miles an
Yeah.
hour, roughly on average.
Yeah, and so
On average.
Earth's pulling on it,
Uh-huh.
but the space station moves a little bit to the side and misses the Earth. And so it completely is. It's always falling.
Good thing the Earth's not flat.
Hey. And I do want to get back to the basis of ISS and what it is, things like that. But since we're on this topic of it's missing the Earth has lots of atmosphere as well. It extends well beyond just the clouds in our sky. So there is some atmospheric drag to the International Space Station amongst some other tidal forces, things like that, between the sun and things. And it's bringing the ISS down. It could be anywhere from about 1.8 meters a month to 100 meters a year coming down. So you have some boosters on the ISS that will thrust it up once in a while.
Okay,
so that
give
way,
it a little bit of extra.
that way the drag doesn't constantly bring it down and destroy the space station.
We don't want that.
No.
How high up is the International Space Station? It's already working.
Just say ISS.
How high up is ISS?
I think it's around 241 miles. So it's really not that high up. Like, you can make that drive in a day easy.
The ISS, Federico says, ISS is the human worst arrow in space, missing a huge target since decades.
The ISS couldn't hit the broadside of Hey, that's a drink.
Well, since we're drinking, I'm going to do this little shot, buddy. Oh, God.
Oh,
I forgot how big these are.
Yeah,
Just like the space station.
I made them too big. But that's all right.
Oh, thank you.
All right, what do you want to say about it? Anything you want to say about
Well, she has
its height?
Jello now.
It's cool.
It's cool. Alright, so yes, the ISS stays in constant orbit around 241-ish miles above the Earth. And I want to go back to what is the space station exactly? Why is it up there? What's going on? So it's again our outpost in outer space, and we're able to do an immense amount of experiments in the space station that we otherwise could not do on Earth thanks to that microgravity. And we'll go into that later. And we're also learning quite a bit about the human body in space.
Yes. Yeah, because it's completely different conditions than what we're used to. So there's going to be some effects that if we're going to go actually physically explore out in space ourselves, like to Mars, then we need to know kind of, well, can we physically
Yeah, because you're going to be, your one-way trip to Mars is 9 months.
Yeah.
And so that's a long time. So
it's one baby.
Do your 9. Do your 9.
When did we launch it? It hasn't been up there forever.
Well, and it's just parts that have been launched up, right, and assembled in space. So it's
like a giant Lego set. So the first part of the ISS was launched November 1998. It was built in Russia but paid for by Americans, so technically it's an American segment. It's called the FGB. I forget exactly what that stands for, but that was used to basically power the space station originally, and today it's still used mostly for storage.
1998?
98.
That really doesn't seem like that
long ago.
No, because the space station Mir, the Russian spacecraft, was still in orbit at that time technically. So they did have some overlap between the two space stations.
How long did Skylab last?
About less than a year. I went from 72 to 73.
Oh, wow.
Oh, no.
Okay.
No.
It habited 72 to 73, but it deorbited in 79.
Yeah, because I was about ready to say.
Okay.
Well, actually.
And for those out there, Skylab is like the precursor to...
Okay,
it's like the first kind of space station.
So it's the first American space station.
Okay.
We had the Soviet 1, which was a military operation for the Soviet Union in 71, I believe, just a year before Skylab.
Okay.
And the Soviets had a number of space stations as well. Really cramped things, mostly for military operations, and until they figured out, well, having people take pictures is really inefficient. You can just do that with satellites.
That's fair.
Yeah. And so they eventually came out with Mir, for example, and Soviet 11, I think it was, just to have quote-unquote civilian space stations, which they were still military people up there.
Yeah.
But in the Mir, that's when they finally accepted American astronauts to come into their space station as well. So I guess that was technically, that was the second International Space Station technically, because the first one was the Apollo-Soyuz program, in the 70s, early 70s as well. That's when the Apollo capsules link up with the Soyuz for the Soviet Union. And that was the first time these two spacefaring nations actually worked together in space, really, was linking those up.
We can all get along in space.
All right, that raises a question I have further down in my list here.
You want to do it now, or you want to...
Yeah,
Go with the
because we're
We'll
talking about it.
Yeah.
This is more of a guideline.
Yeah.
Because we've already jumped.
It's always guidelines.
Okay, so as we all know, Russia has decided to invade one of its neighbors.
Why you gotta ruin the party, Russia?
Ukraine. So that conflict is going on now for a few months now, 4 months, 4.5 months. And so if you have the International Space Station that has Russian astronauts on it, American astronauts.
All made in Taiwan.
But not really. That's just a reference.
Yeah. Japanese, all these. How do they handle those type of international conflicts?
Earthbound international conflicts?
So the astronauts on the space station are very professional about this. Of course, they'll have personal conversations and, get each other's perspectives and things like that. But they're still going to work together in space because they depend on each other for everything.
Right.
So they absolutely have to work together from the professional standpoint. Now, of course, geopolitics here down on Earth can be anything else. For example, the head of Roscosmos, Dmitry Roganov, who is a crazy individual and also has Twitter, like a lot of crazy people do.
Okay.
He kept tweeting out after the Ukraine invasion began that they're going to either deorbit the space station because they have thrusters on one of their segments that can bring it down, or we're just going to take our part of the space station and leave you guys. They're not. They can, but they won't.
They're going to take their toys and go home.
That was what they were threatening to do. So geopolitics aside, the people actually up in space, or the people actually in charge of ground control, they're professionals. They do the job.
Right.
So they've never actually impacted the relations on the International Space Station. Even when we have international partners up there, it's not just U.S. and Russia.
Japan.
We have Canada.
Has there
been a New Zealand Kiwi up there? Oh.
New Zealand
Kiwi. A Kiwi astronaut?
Much different than the Belgian Kiwis.
A Kiwinaut?
Oh, wow, that's a good one. That's good. I
We
want to be a Kiwinaut.
We got to find this out. But many nations of the European Space Agency have gone up. Almost every country's gone up. Well, not every country, but 250 some odd people gone up there from many different countries.
Wow.
I was going to ask.
So there's a lot of international perspectives up there, and international conflicts on Earth has never gotten in the way of partnerships in space.
Who is the...
Well, except for China. That's a different story.
China. But who did the quote on, that they wish that senators, U.S. senators, could go to space and see how the Earth doesn't have borders, and
that was, I believe, Edgar Mitchell from Apollo 14, who said, I wish I could take the politicians up by the scruff of the necks and say, look at this, you son of a bitch.
Yeah.
There's been a couple politicians in space as well, like...
John Glenn was up there.
John Glenn was in space. That was after he was a senator, but he became, at the time, the oldest person in space. He took the shuttle in the late 90s, I want to say. So did current NASA administrator, how am I blanking on his name? Former senator from Florida, Bill. Oh my God, how do I know this?
I don't know.
Wow, this hurts. Anyway, he went up to space. But a lot of people kind of upset with that because he really used political leverage to get himself into space because he really wanted to do it. Which, to be fair, if I'm senator... I know, I can't believe I blanked on the name of the NASA administrator.
Bolden?
No, that's Charlie Bolden, former NASA administrator.
Okay.
Great guy. Jim Bridenstine and Bill Goddard.
So, needless to say, when people go up there, they're fundamentally changed. I mean, just...
literally, physically.
And
yes.
Just in the way that they see the world.
One of my favorite quotes is, I forget which astronaut said this, but it was in the 60s.
You need to get your notes together. You're forgetting names all over the place.
I'm freewheeling here. And it reminds me of one of my favorite quotes, and he says, after he gets to the far side of the moon, he goes, "My God, it's full of stars." That's cool.
Oh, man. What an experience. But, I mean... you go up to the ISS, and so it's basically a big laboratory in space. That's what the purpose of it is, to perform experiments and to kind of...
Yeah, you're not there to relax.
No,
you're working. You're working really hard. And of course, so in the comments here, we have somebody mentioning Samantha Cristoforetti, who's a fantastic astronaut. She's fantastic. and she missed to be the ISS commander almost to delays caused by Russian invasion.
Wow.
Whoa. Yeah, because right now...
So she almost missed her shot of going up.
Yeah, because we have a couple ways to get to the space station, but for the last 10 years up until recently, it was just the Soyuz launching in Baikonur, thanks to Russia. And so, yeah, that would definitely cause some delays with the invasion. So that's another reason why it's important to have more than one way to get people to and from the space station. So right now it's just SpaceX. In December, roughly, it looks like it'll be Boeing as well. So multiple ways to get up there.
New Zealand just launched a rocket.
That's right. Was it a sounding rocket or was it a full orbital rocket?
I think it's full orbital.
Excellent.
So good job, Kiwanauts.
Yeah, because they have Rocket Lab down there is based partly in New Zealand. They have a launch base down there too.
Imagine like hobbits in astronaut gear.
It's adorable with little top hats and monocles.
Little top hats and monocles.
What are some of the? Does it work? Oh,
it's too slushy. I gotta expose it. I gotta expose it to the microgravity.
All right, let it be known. I was told. It was requested for it to be slushy.
Slutty drink.
And now it's too slushy.
Well, it's just the hole on our fancy space cups is really tiny.
All right, so basically we've been up there. The International Space Station has been up there since 1998. However, it's only been occupied for what, 21 years at this point?
Since the year 2000.
Yeah, so 2000.
Wow.
Yeah, so 21 years.
So there are many people alive today that have never known space without people in it.
Oh,
so they have never known the planet that has every human being alive on it.
That's interesting to think about. Yeah. Okay. This is out of a comment out of a little left field from Katie.
Okay.
Adam and her watched the new Beavis and Butthead movie, which is on Plex. And all I could think about is how much you'd be yelling over the destruction they caused to the ISS. I did not know the ISS was involved in the new Beavis and Butthead movie, so now this is something that will have to be watched.
Okay, so...
very legal means.
Back to the question.
Yes.
Back to the question. So it's been up there for 21 years. Well,
22.
Occupied 22
occupied for 21 years,
24.
which means that we've been doing experiments for roughly 20 years, we'll say. What are some of the discoveries that they have found up there that could not be found here on the ground?
So, I mean, just by itself, again, being a floating laboratory, its job is to output science and research. So it has published over 2,600 articles in over 700 journals of science.
Wow.
So that alone is incredible. And they've done everything from working on neurodegenerative diseases, Alzheimer's, because you can grow certain cells in space that Earth has an extremely difficult time growing, again, because of microgravity.
Oh, wow.
So we're able to grow the cell clusters to study Alzheimer's, study certain cancers and things like that. So it's made a big leap in biomedical, and of course the human body itself is in space is a big one. It can detect obviously lots of experiments outside of the space station attached to it itself that can pick up neutrinos, for example, do neutrino experiments, or have big discoveries with neutron stars. So it's a little bit of human biology, a little bit of cosmos, because it's all related anyway.
Yeah, I mean, how do we know like how many animals, insects, etc. have they taken to the ISS, or that are maybe currently on the ISS?
42 animal units.
42 animal units. So back in the early 2000s, NASA was interested in putting animals up there, not just spiders or ants or things like that, but
can we?
I'm
sorry.
Spiders in space.
Sidebar: spiders on the trapped on a tin can in orbit around the Earth with spiders.
I've had it with these motherfucking spiders on this motherfucking space station. Well done. But yes, they grow webs very strangely, as you can imagine, microgravity. But in the early 2000s, NASA was interested in putting animals up there, so they put out a call for a veterinarian to go to space. And the veterinarian applied and went to space, but they didn't put animals up in space. So now he just got up to space because he was
veterinarian. Wait, didn't he come to the planetarium?
The veterinarian?
Was that Mike Massimo? No.
No, you're thinking of...
we had a veterinarian astronaut come to the planetarium to talk. He was.
It
I
Butch?
remember him being a veterinarian.
Is it Butch that's veterinarian?
Yeah. I don't know. Anyway.
I need to find out now.
Can you imagine?
I have a fun story about that after the podcast.
Okay.
Can you imagine your little mouse enjoying your little mouse life,
Just
eating your cheese, running the maze? They put you in a box, and you go up into space, and then you're just floating around.
And then you just don't know what's up, and you're just like...
All you're doing is floating around. You have no sense of really up, down.
And that's not the worst part is I'm hanging out in a nice little cage, eating my food, and then you fucking launch on the rocket.
Yeah, the G-forces that then you're feeling.
Oh, okay, maybe I'm thinking about the shuttle, but I heard that like the shuttle liftoff was pretty tame.
Resident shuttle expert.
Riddle. But they were comparing it to the Saturn V.
There it is. Yeah, because the Saturn V just kicked your ass. Shuttle compared to Saturn V, much more reasonable.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
G-forces. I mean, you're still shaking.
It's a child's play.
Nice.
Yep.
Just a sidebar, just to make it known, Jack's home. He's got red raspberry and blueberry infused iced tea, which sounds really good.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. All right. So, but if you wanted to go out and look at it, I know this is much higher up, but there's a way that you.
It's 240 miles up.
It is 240 miles up, but if you wanted to go out into your backyard and look at it, what's the website again?
SpotTheStation.
Spot the Station. And all you'll have to do is just put in your location, and it will tell you when it's going to be up, how high up it's going to be on your horizon,
the direction
that it's going to be traveling.
Yeah, because we've used that. Because I remember when we were in Phoenix, there were a couple times when the ISS were going overhead, and so we went out.
There it is.
And it was just like a bright, basically looked like Venus. It was just a bright star. Just
it can
going,
be the second brightest thing in the sky after, I guess, the third after the sun and the moon.
And the moon, yeah. So, spot the station, go to it, and you'll be able to see it. What?
Jack's comment. Mice bowels are different, so in 0G they would be little poop-powered rockets.
Oh my goodness!
Imagine little mice just.
Speaking of poop, we're gonna go into this. Liz will take it from here in a moment. But once you get into space, it's just because the gravity is different, your body reacts. The water doesn't naturally go down in that case. Typically, within the first 2 hours of being in space, you have to use the restroom. So when the shuttle launched, the bathrooms were one of the first things powered on.
Well, I would assume so.
Yeah.
I mean. Yeah. As soon as I got there, I'd be like, I gotta go. I don't know what happening here.
No,
but I need to go anyway.
As soon as the rocket, rocket
well, I don't have to go anymore because I just went during the launch.
As soon as I was strapped in the suit and knew I couldn't get out of it, I'd be like, oh no, now I gotta.
No, what it is like, oh my god, now I gotta pee. Dad, I gotta pee. You gotta pull over. I gotta pee. You can't do it. Can't do it. Here's a bottle. Here's a Coke.
The next rest stop is 250,000 miles away. Hold it.
Yeah, don't make me turn this shuttle around.
Oh, but, so there's another story. I forget which Apollo mission it was, but I think it was Apollo 9, something like that.
Sure.
Suddenly, Mission Control just hears laughter and goes, "What is that? It's floating!" Somebody had taken a crap and not collected it as a joke and let it fly through the cabin.
Oh.
That.
Oh.
Yeah.
That seems that seems on brand for something, at least once for our species to do.
For the 60s astronauts,
the male species to do. Katie asked, have we talked about where the poop goes?
No. All right, well, here's the thing.
Back to Earth.
Based on that.
ISS just shits on the Earth just constantly. Wouldn't that be funny? It's just raining
Well,
shit
fun
down.
fact, the Mir space station did just that. It ejected the ejector out into space. And space station doesn't really do that.
Well, that's
so
good.
Why don't you tell us about it?
Well, I don't know anything about where the poop goes. But
talk to us about this shitty subject.
We were watching this video.
I told you that you're going to talk about it.
I know. Earlier. No. Okay. Watch if you're listening on the podcast. Watch the YouTube version. Oh, you won't see the comments anyway on that, so never mind. Anyway.
Liz's gonna cut this out later.
So I will. So we're watching. Just a little video of a former astronaut just kind of giving a tour of the ISS. And they showed the bathroom. And they have a little crescent moon on it, like a outhouse. At least old outhouses from
The
America here, the Old West, and it was just like a closet that you go into, and there's just like stuff everywhere, and then you have this tiny little box that when you open it has a hole, and that's for number 2s, and there's no toilet seat to sit on. There wasn't really like a thing where you rest your booty.
It's nicely angled with handles and things.
Yeah, you gotta, but you still have to kind of aim. It's not a very big spot. You kind of got to be ready to go and aim appropriately. And then attached to the wall, there's this long tube with a yellow funnel.
What's that for?
At the end of it, and it's yellow, so that's for your pee.
Oh,
so that's for number 1, which seems a lot easier, obviously, if you're not a woman, because it also small. It's like, as a woman, peeing in a cup is not.
Now, do you just pee in this cup and it stays there, or what happens? What's going on?
What I really love about all this
down.
is Liz is actually showing.
It's below the camera, but
it's below the camera. She is demonstrating the placement
it's
of this.
Difficult, but luckily they have like a variety of different wipes and stuff and gloves.
They have disinfectant wipes and
on the wall because apparently it can get messy.
Well, yeah, and also whatever toilet paper floats your boat, they got.
Yeah, they got rough ones, they got soft ones, they got wet ones, they got dry ones.
Yeah.
And so then the pee though, they keep that and it goes into a water filtration system to replenish
more pee.
So the astronauts have water.
Yeah.
And
that then becomes more pee. It's just
now,
a cycle of pee to water, pee to water.
All this waste, this fecal matter, if you will,
goes in bags.
It goes in bags and typically go to spacecraft that are deorbited, but they don't land on Earth. These are the ones that will burn up in the atmosphere. So we do then rain crap over the world.
just bags of flaming poop.
How would you like that? To
bags
be in space
of flaming poop on our doorstep.
And think, I just crapped over Malaysia.
Well, you're going so fast that it
and it'd be over the ocean as well.
Yeah.
So just the fishies in the deep blue sea.
A UTI in space? Oh no. Oh.
Where are we going next?
I hope they have cranberry juice up there.
Oh, I'm sure they do.
Anyway,
well, let's go into what actually makes the poop. How do you eat?
Food.
Well, yeah, but all right. So.
All right. So when you're in space, you obviously can't have things like peanut butter and jelly sandwich or good tacos because you're gonna bite into it and the crumbs. Actually, PB and J be pretty good. Like tacos then, because then the crumbs would just go everywhere. So that's problem number 1. Problem number 2 is where you're gonna store it. You need the refrigerator. You need the atmosphere, things like that. Mm-hmm. So most of it is just freeze dried.
Add water.
Things like that. Add water. Put it in the microwave, and out comes your glob of food. Sure.
Yeah, the really cool thing about the video that we saw with the astronaut was, they have like Russian food and some Japanese food.
They have food from all different
and it's just all in this little galley kind of place and
in bags.
In bags.
And your taste buds do change in space. So a very, very popular item in space is hot sauce, so you can taste it.
Oh, but don't they like for the food make it more spicy?
Yes.
Yeah. So
for that reason,
the ISS chefs.
So you lose.
Yeah,
your taste buds are
a lot
less
of things
sensitive.
Change in space. Your taste buds, your eyes.
Well, Katie can tell you about how things taste. Oh, she got COVID and everything tasted like hot garbage. But she's getting better.
Katie.
She's getting better. It's coming back.
Okay.
Sorry.
These are references I don't understand.
Maybe you shouldn't put that on such a public forum, though. So
I can cut it out.
But on occasion, they will send up special supplies. Cakes on birthdays.
Oh, that's
astronauts.
How does a cake survive?
A little mushy. But they can make special requests. I think Oreos have been up there.
Yeah. I'm with Jack. He wants his hot Takis, hot Cheetos. Bring hot Cheetos.
Some in there.
Yes, but if something does get crummy. Crumbly is correct. Yeah, crumbly. The astronauts have to try to get that up, right, before it gets into
the
filtration.
But it's mostly cake's pretty moist in the first place, so it's gonna.
Well, no, I meant like just in general. Like if you have an Oreo, and you take a bite out of it.
Oh yeah, it's gonna go everywhere.
Yeah, so
and then
the whole thing.
And then those crumbs can get places, and astronauts to go clean things up and take it apart. A big chunk of their day is actually just maintenance and cleaning up. Because if little gunk builds up certain places, it's going to clog up systems, clog up filtrations.
Like just the maintenance of the ISS.
Oh yeah,
is just
it takes up a huge portion of the astronauts' day.
Right, just.
So I am willing to just go up and just be maintenance for the International Space Station.
I mean, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I can
you
do
get
that.
the view, you get to float around.
I'll work 12-hour days just cleaning up.
Yeah, just take a little dustbuster and just
next Cosmos for Cosmos from ISS.
All right.
Oh, if you bring a dustbuster, then you got like a vacuum in a vacuum.
You would just blow up the universe.
Vacuum inception.
Well, technically, though.
Okay. A reality of the physics of it.
All right, what we got next, Mike?
All right, so here's a question that is real world question, and then it's going to be kind of a philosophical question after that. It's two-parter. So, how much does it cost to operate ISS per year?
About $2 billion a year.
$2 billion
from NASA's budget. I'm sure Roscosmos and ESA, they contribute as well. About $2 billion a year, because we're not expanding anymore, we're not launching the shuttle, we're just maintaining it at this point. And I think this next part of my head is going to lead into Mike's next question.
All right, so with hunger, disease, and poverty still a favorite human pastime, is the space station worth the money that we spend on it?
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah. So
I knew what the answer was going to be.
If the space station is $2 billion a year and the military budget is like $950 billion a year, I mean, yeah, budget. Sure. I'd much rather spend money on space rather than blowing people up.
How many?
42.
Yes.
Something units.
How many beneficial things that we use today come from either building the ISS or experiments on the ISS or just related to
industry?
The space exploration in general?
Well, cell phones. I mean, we all have one in our pockets, though not right now. But just the communication, Velcro,
tennis shoes.
Earth's imagery to help with natural disasters and help with climate change. And of course, helping with defending invasions. It's very handy to have.
Yeah, so I mean, I agree. I knew what the answer was going to be when I wrote it, but it's. The thing is, I'm really sure there are people out there, and this is like really the ironic part.
Take this and then I'll talk.
You want to help me out?
Yeah, and get another one. We're getting deep.
Is that you have people who look at the U.S. budget and they go, "Oh my God, $2 billion are spending on the International Space Station." No, that's pork. That we can't have that. But let's increase the military budget by like $1 trillion.
Right. Yeah.
So last time I was part of one of these deep conversations. I was very sober.
Deep thoughts.
I was very sober.
Are you not now?
Now it's my turn.
Ha!
So
let it fly.
When we say $2 billion just in the International Space Station spent on the ISS, it's not like we're launching this money up and exploding it in space. Everything is spent here on Earth with salaries, with equipment, companies. We are expanding our economy with space. It's not just being wasted. And a lot of people think, well, we're just launching $13 billion a year.
Taking pretty pictures.
Yeah. Which, by the way, when this airs, you'll have a week before the James Webb releases first images. So I'm very excited about that.
Anyway.
So the economy, it's the money spent here on Earth, typically in this country, especially with NASA. So, let alone that, it's worth invigorating the economies of certain states and locations.
There's way more return on investment.
Like you with the ROI, nice.
By putting money into NASA and into space exploration, than there is, say, the military.
Yeah, so for example,
so overblown.
Just this last week, we committed $891 million to Ukraine's defense against Russia, oddly enough a partner in space. And that was just in one go. So right away there is basically half of the space station just because our partner with the space station is invading another stupid partner. Come on, guys.
But the ROI that you were talking about
is incredible.
Something like for every $1 that NASA spends, we get $7 back in in the the technology and the advancements and everything.
And that's purely quantitative. It doesn't even begin to speculate the qualitative advantages of spending in space. The inspirations of people, of kids, understanding STEAM, being inspired. My God, that alone.
Yeah, and just then becoming better humans, as the quote we mentioned earlier. Not seeing those borders, getting a new perspective of just it's like you get an appreciation for being an earthling over being an American
and the space station especially, because you have if you look up pictures of the space station, you're going to see the cupola. And this is this fantastic window to the Earth from 250 miles above it, where you do have that stereotypical quote of, you can see the world for what it is without political borders. It's just a fragile ball in space. And it looks beautiful. My goodness. It's an alive, thriving organism.
I love all the pictures that they take from the ISS and getting that perspective. And I loved when what's the astronaut's name with the guitar?
Chris Hadfield.
From Canada.
And he just made all these fun videos that just it wasn't like boring science talk or just something rote that is done as like
it ropes in culture,
it tied
the culture.
in all the culture and it made I don't know, when you have astronauts like that, it makes space feel more accessible. And I think it's so important that we have people that are above the Earth, that are on something in space, that are not only communicating but working up there and give
so so you mentioned inspiration and
which was the name of the space expedition launched 4 people to space, but continue.
okay. You mentioned inspiration. It only takes one picture from the International Space Station of Earth to inspire people. Just one picture. That's all you need is a picture, and just you see the Earth, you see the beauty of it, and it inspires people, realizing that they live in a bigger place. It inspires kids to want to go to space. Just a week ago, we took part in this big propaganda event over at the Air Force Base next door, and the government, the Air Force, spends it's millions of dollars a year just to put on this dog and pony show. It's cool as fuck, so don't get me wrong. I really did enjoy seeing these planes. But it really is a propaganda effort to inspire little kids to try to become fighter pilots. And you don't have to go through that dog and pony show with ISS. You just take a picture from space. Or you have an astronaut sing a David Bowie song. It was David Bowie, wasn't it?
It was David Bowie.
Yep, and so have him sing a David Bowie song as he floats through ISS. And then everybody's inspired. What are the 2 things that little kids love?
Space and dinosaurs.
Exactly. Space and dinosaurs. It's only when they grow up that they go, I want to fly a jet plane.
I have 2 things. One's a comment and 2 comments. So the next Jurassic Park should be set in space.
Yes.
Number 1.
Oh, God.
Dinosaur laser fight in space.
On ISS?
Oh, my God, yes. Little raptors with space helmets with bow ties and monocles. And number 2, Federico in the comments had a great little quote here. So the cupola, the view of Earth from the space station, he says, is the most scientifically useless thing, and at the same time, the most scientifically inspiring thing on the ISS. Yeah. That's wonderful. It absolutely is.
Yeah. I would spend all my downtime.
Oh, there, yeah. I would just love to have a little book and have a little reading nook next to the space. Oh, my God, yes.
It's wonderful. You can't smoke a cigar, though.
That's fine.
Jack said he loved doing the Sally Ride ISS-KAM project with his students. They had so much fun controlling the camera on the ISS. Like, how cool is that?
Yeah,
what a just...
It is so much easier to inspire kids with space.
Yes. And so Mike was talking about the inspiration it brings, and the ISS does do significant interviews with schools here on Earth. I remember back in 2013, something like that. I got to go to a school that was having interviewing with the ISS, and the kids were asking the astronauts questions live, real time. And it was such a cool experience for them.
Gosh,
so I can't imagine the value it has on those kids, even though it's only 50, 100 at a time.
Yeah.
But that alone is
that's
phenomenal.
an experience that they'll take with them and remember. But then there are then a percentage of them that are like, I want to do that, or
right.
I want to.
And so of course you can't say, well, that's not worth rebuilding. But then you add everything else that the space station does: the inspiration, the science, everything,
intangible things,
the tangible things, exactly.
So, I think I was born loving space, but I enjoyed thinking about Jupiter and the stars and those type of things. But it wasn't until I was going to say ISS. It wasn't until Skylab flew over my head, empty or not, and on its death spiral, that I was like, holy shit, I can go to space. And so that then wanted me to be. Then I wanted to become an astronaut. Until I found out that you had to basically be. What I wanted to do was I wanted to pilot the shuttle. I wanted to fly the damn thing, and I found out the only way you could do that really is to be a fighter pilot. And and I
vision and
and I couldn't. As much as I would love to fly in one of those planes, just the fact that thinking that I can push a button and it's going to kill.
Now, at the same
a lot
time,
of people.
Later on, you don't have to be a fighter pilot to command the shuttle. But to pilot the shuttle.
Well, it's too late now.
It's too late now. There's the shuttle is grounded permanently until Armageddon happens, the movie.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, then.
That's all hands on deck.
But if we don't have Bruce Willis.
Come on, Chris Ferguson, let's go.
All right, so here's a question for you.
Yes.
Actually, it's a few questions. All right. Can the space shuttle goddamn fucking drinks? Can the International Space Station last forever?
No.
Okay.
For many different reasons. It's like you have a car from the 1960s. You keep it in perfect working condition, but those parts will fail over time. So you have to constantly replace those parts, which we are doing with the space station. But at some point, integral parts, very expensive, big parts, will start to fail.
Right.
And you obviously can't have a complete failure in space because bad things happen.
It's a little, it's very disastrous.
So many of these parts do have firm deadlines of how long they can last. Now, we do a good job of replacing them. Originally, I think it was thought to be deorbited in 2024 and 2026. Now it's 2031 is the firm cutoff date. 2031, okay. And NASA, I'm going to say NASA because Roscosmos at this point is a hot tire fire. So NASA wants to cut off at 2031 for two different reasons. Number one, they're thinking at this time, the private companies will be able to take control of low Earth orbit and use space stations for their benefits on their dime, as opposed to NASA paying those $2-3 billion a year for it. Which they're trying to do. For example, this isn't the best example, but we use it. A former company called Bigelow, from Bigelow Hotels as well. They actually put a module up on the space station called Beam. And it went up there, it was like an accordion. So it attached the space station and then slowly unfurled to become a habitable location now. Oh, that's cool. So Beam has one up there. There's another company that currently has one up there. And their goal is in 2031 to detach from the space station, because they can't use it anymore, and become their own private habitation module. And so to create commercial entities in space. I know where you're going with that. But NASA's giving low Earth orbit up habitability-wise because they want to continue on to create the lunar outpost around the moon called the Lunar Gateway. Because if you have $2-3 billion a year going towards the space station, well, that's $2-3 billion a year not going towards
expanding outward.
Exploration and expanding outwards. So lunar outpost, Mars, that can't happen because we give more money to military. That can't happen if we have an international space station because we need those funds to go further.
I just want to highlight Federico's comment. He said ISS made space a normal parentheses possible thing once reserved for heroes.
That was its goal.
And so then now I wonder, okay, so yes, expanding to have that like the moon base and whatever like that, it's really important and stuff, but only having these private companies then basically own low Earth orbit, what does that do to the accessibility of getting to space?
Because,
but I mean,
it opens it up to
people
rich
have
people.
Money, right?
That's what it is right now. We're not going to send us to the space anytime soon.
But I mean, like the people who are the astrobiologists, botanists, and teachers and stuff, getting to go up to space to perform experiments and working on that. How is that gonna?
We are still in the horse and buggy stages of space exploration.
These are my favorite quotes.
in which, yes, right now, space is widely inaccessible unless you win some kind of lottery to go up into space, which is a whole other issue. But that's just how it is right now, unfortunately. It costs a significant amount of money to get into space. So until we can bring that cost way down, that's just how it's going to stay.
Well, will these private companies, unfortunately, I'm assuming they're not going to be putting that focus on science.
No.
Well,
they're gonna be...
it depends on the company. So, for example, let's say a pharmaceutical company gets into space. Of course, they send people, but it will be highly paid scientists to go up there to try to create the drugs that can then extort humans down here on Earth for life-saving medicines.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, for a company, it's all about the money.
Yes.
For a government institution, it's either going to be about the exploration or the knowledge or military purposes.
We've had a number of space tourists to visit the space station.
Well, no, we have.
Including coming up soon, apparently, Tom fucking Cruise, which is going to be weird.
What?
Yeah. He's gonna,
no.
Yeah.
Really?
Do a little movie thing.
Yeah, but why are they sending those tourists up there?
Money, because it helps fund the science.
Yeah, but is it NASA that's doing it? Or is it mainly Russia?
Mainly Russia. But now NASA is opening it up because they're trying to expand the uses of the ISS to people who have a lot of money.
I don't think that we should say that when ISS becomes a private thing and people companies are sending people up there, that these companies have the best intentions for the world in mind. It's all about money. It's all about the shareholder.
But I hate to say it though, you have to spend a significant amount of money to get to space. So it's not like they're going to open up to regular folks to come up.
No. I hear that. I understand that. But I just don't think that we need to romanticize private companies and ISS. It's going to be all about rich people getting up into space. At least I will never see it in my lifetime where people like me can go up there.
I see this in two folds.
Unless Cosm sends me up there. Then I'm all for it.
Now, number one, I completely see where you're coming from, and that, of course, it will be rich people inaccessible, even more so than it is now for regular folks. Because at least if you're a student, you're thinking, well, if I study really hard and focus my career correctly, I can become an astronaut and get to the space station.
Right.
But with the private companies, it's not so much that. It's going to be more if I work really hard and create a business that can exploit lots of people, that I can get to the space station.
Exploit lots of people?
Yes.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I can't believe I'm going to do this. That's kind of how exploration has gone for hundreds of years. It's government leads the way first, then the rich people come with the money to establish themselves, and then everyone else.
Do we break the cycle?
It would be great to break the cycle, but unfortunately, space ain't the place for that.
Yeah, I have an issue. I just don't. It bothers me to my core.
So
hold on. It bothers me to my core that space becomes this basically a Ferengi hangout, where it's just all about capitalism.
We are the Ferengi.
I'm gonna take a shot to that.
And it's just I hate that. To me, space is. I like Federico. It's just like where it's accessible to everybody. It's accessible to everybody, and not just to heroes as it was in the 60s, in the 70s, and it's accessible ultimately to people like me and the two of you and whoever is watching this. And it shouldn't be that I have to work hard and get $5 million just so I can go up into space.
Now, let me put it this way.
You're not going to change my mind.
No, I'm not.
Go ahead.
I'm not going to. I understand that.
I am so anti-capitalist that it's
I got you. But I would love for things to be different in that way. But at the moment, let's say you want to go on a vacation to New Zealand. That's going to be what, $6,000-$7,000 overall. Hotels.
What are you talking about, man? It's just like, well, okay, yeah. It's $1,000. Okay, when I went
like
there,
3,000.
when I was there, it was not 6,000.
But so for I'm looking at flights, for example, to Taiwan for no particular reason, and the round trip's about $2,500.
Well, yeah, man, you got to go to.
Yeah, and that doesn't include.
Got to go to South Korea.
Yeah, I know.
Hotels,
most of the world
things
isn't
like that.
accessible to
Yes.
the people that are on it.
So it's just like that, but space is obviously a much higher inaccessible area, which doesn't make the way I phrase it is weird because of drinks. It's much more inaccessible than New Zealand. So of course the price tag is going to be much higher at the same time until technology is improved to make that price point lower. Now at that point, now you both have thoughts. So I will say, by the time it does become accessible to more people, it'll be completely different worlds, quote unquote, in low Earth orbit.
I think my issue is not necessarily with the accessibility of it, more so of just the worry that the science and the actual scientific exploration
I see.
will be eroded by the private companies coming in and they're not doing that and they're only catering to the
we're all assuming
like
that we're going to the Lunar Gateway.
Well,
which is where science is going to continue.
Well, let me tell you about the exploration upper stage.
Okay, but the thing is like
anyone who knows.
It's all right, whatever.
Now, the Lunar Gateway, it will not be the same thing as the ISS. It will not be as robustly maintained. It will not be as big of a space. It will not have 25,000 experiments done over 700 journals. Be a much smaller...
less science.
Less science, yes, but it will be around the moon.
But I want both of them.
Yes, I agree. So
That's
you know what?
I want both. We can have both, people.
We need better political leaders.
Yeah, but
at the end of the day...
That's what we're always going to come down to in this podcast,
Pretty much.
is we need better political leaders.
Yeah.
All right, so let's do this. Let's continue this discussion in the hangover.
All right.
Okay.
But there was an important question on the outline that we needed to answer is what comes after the ISS.
Yeah,
what comes after the ISS?
Okay.
Is there a plan?
There is a plan. NASA has a plan.
Does NASA always have a plan?
NASA's like the Elizabeth Warren, the space agencies.
So
always
plans.
have a plan with
There's
binders.
Like A through Z of plans.
Well done.
Yeah, I thought that was fun. So they have, I forget, again, it's in my notes. It's like the commercial laboratories, something or another. Anyway, it's the plan for low Earth orbit after the space station. And of course, we have Beam up there. We have, I think it was Nanoracks. But they've put out contracts for companies to create space stations. I know we just talked about this, but this is their plan. They've already put contracts out there to companies to begin initial demonstrations of modules. So right now it has 3 companies involved, Nanoracks, Blue Origin, and Northrop Grumman, to create these modules to go up in space, to connect with certain modules of the space station after things disconnect in the orbit. And so to create still permanent inhabitants in space.
Okay.
And right now I think it's budgeted at $150 million, but it's not fully budgeted for different continuing resolution issues. But NASA's still pushing hard for that.
Yeah. Well, I think it's important to have some sort of presence and people there.
And something else I'd like to talk about in the hangover, if you would like to stick around or watch on YouTube, is ideas of space stations that have happened in the past, things that'd be great, rotating space stations. We can talk about Gemini 13 when they actually attach each other to rope and try to get artificial gravity.
That's fun. That's
science fiction space stations.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the political ramifications of space stations.
Space stations.
All right. Well, I think that's a great segue. Join us for the hangover coming up shortly. And if you can't do that, then join us in a couple of weeks where we are going to talk about the multiverse.
And in a different universe, that episode already happened.
Yay!
Yeah, so the new Marvel movie, Doctor Strange, has got us thinking about this. And so in a couple of weeks, we'll be talking about the multiverse. And so join us then. It's on July 17th. At the same time we always do this.
3 days before the Apollo anniversaries.
Yes, indeed.
And 1 day before someone's birthday.
# Brazilian Steakhouse.
Why? Okay.
Anyway.
All right. Anyway, thanks for joining us. We'll see you in a couple weeks. Everybody, stay safe, stay healthy, and join us for the Hangover, where we're going to talk about the demise of America.
And if you protest now and then, that's okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Goodbye.
Cheers, everybody.
For those of you with us now, we'll be right back.
welcome to the black hole.
I cannot figure out what button to press.
Wow. We've only been doing this like for a trillion years.
Speaking of which,
week, and
what episode are we on? Like what?
I was thinking it's like
season 3. This is season 3, episode 18.
Yeah, but it's like number 68, 70.
I can't keep track of like the breadth of.
Because I was looking it up, but I wanna actually go on the website and actually look and see.
I was curious about that.
But you can find out yourself if you go to cosmos.com or check out us on anchor.fm and elsewhere, and you can Spotify. You can find out how many episodes we have.
Yes.
Welcome to the Hangout.
Welcome to the world of the Hangover.
I even looked at you when I said Hangout. Welcome to the Hangover, everybody.
Jeez.
Where we are going to talk about space stations at some point, but I do think that we need to start. Tomorrow is July 4th here in the U.S., and it is a
auspicious July 4th.
This is where I know, right? This is where July 4th normally is where we just celebrate the birth of the United States. 200 and however many.
I thought it was the birth of American Jesus.
That too, but that's even more of a recent thing. However, though, this year we are going to not celebrate. We are going to mourn the demise of America with a sweeping announcement by our Supreme Court.
We had a sweeping announcement, and I was
what is this? What's it going to be?
What sweeping announcement do we have?
No, sweeping announcement by the Supreme Court of the United States that basically one half of the population of the United States, has had rights removed from them for the first time in all of American history. But second of all, just reinforced the idea that half of the population is second-class citizen. And it really is a sad day in this country, and it's a shame that Liz has to wear her mind your uterus. Is that what it says?
I wish that was just a really fun pun.
Mind your own uterus.
I wish that was just a really fun pun. Yeah.
It's sad that we have to wear this. It's sad that we have to put a flag outside of our house that says abortion is a woman's choice, and it is not. It's not the churches, it's not the government, and it's definitely not yours. It is sad that we have to do that. It is sad that we have to wear these shirts. That we have to. While people are fucking celebrating people losing rights in this country, and it is not going to stop. It's not going to stop with abortion in this country. Mm-hmm. It's not going to stop. It's not going to stop with a woman's right to choose what to do with her own body. It's not going to stop with.
Should have all my dancing, Supreme Court.
Gay marriage. Marriage equality. I don't even like calling it gay marriage.
But Mike's on the thing.
Marriage equality is next. How you have sex is going to be next. Contraception is going to be next. All of these were decided on the same principle that a woman's right to choose was decided upon. Interestingly enough, Clarence Thomas, asshole of the Supreme Court, he left off one of the first ones to be decided on privacy, which is interracial marriage. Why? Because he's in an interracial marriage. And so it's funny how...
But that's fine, because he's in one. It's cool.
Yeah. So it doesn't end here. And, women have already... Yeah, I mean, fuck it. Fuck it all.
And yeah, Jack, I see you. Good idea.
God, so much better running this country.
Yeah.
Emails.
The thing is like people walk past our house and they see the flag. They have a lot of flags to choose from now. They have two women's rights flags. They have this house is a science house. The Black Lives Matters little flag.
Oh, yeah, our little flag. I forgot about our little flag.
And of course our pride flag that stays up year round. And they're gonna be so happy when we move. That's all I can say.
But yeah, we will be grilling burgers and Polish kielbasa tomorrow.
Yeah, mourning the demise.
The wake.
We mourn with our tummies.
That's fair. Yeah.
So, for everybody that actually is mourning a rough week that was with the Supreme Court, we're here with you. We see you. For all all my LGBTQ brothers and sisters.
I made my first protest sign last week. I've gotten to them before, but I never made the sign.
That was fun.
Yeah, it was a good little sign. So yeah,
it gets better. That's all I can hope for. Anyway, space stations.
Now fun with space stations.
Space stations.
I
So.
didn't know you were gonna just jump off.
Yeah, I wasn't
heavy
ready for
wagon
that.
With this. I have Jello in my system.
Well, but we're going right back into space stations now. So I wanted to get it out there. I
agree.
I spent an hour not saying anything. And I just feel like this is an opportunity for me to talk to people that aren't just you and Brandon. And so, it's cathartic in a way, cathartic, whatever the word is, the fancy word that people use. It's, in a way, it's that for me, just being able to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Got you.
I mean, it's devastating, and it's not even the last of it. When you have a Supreme Court justice calling for, contraception and for marriage equality to be, relitigated, that it's going to be overturned. It's all going to be overturned. And this is, the U.S. is such a fucked up place right now where we talk about this pro-life shit, and then we're like, oh yeah, but you can carry guns concealed. Mm-hmm. You can go shoot up a school and it's fine because guns. But we're pro-life. And also this week, the Supreme Court of the fucking United States of America basically has hamstrung the EPA and said that, the EPA can't, the Environmental Protection Agency says that they can't regulate emissions from, coal-fire energy making places and that kind of thing. And so this country does not believe in science anymore.
To kind of, I don't know, we humans only matter to ourselves. Earth doesn't give a fuck about us. The moon doesn't give a fuck. The solar system, the universe. They don't give a fuck about us. So we are the only ones that can give. They don't give a fuck either. We are the only ones that should actually care about ourselves, and we clearly do not.
We don't.
Well, okay, let me take that back. A majority do, but the minority have written the rules.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, but even the majority, okay, so to tie this back into the International Space Station.
Yes.
As best as I can, as we all are kind of buzzed right now, and I did have basically Long Island iced tea.
Yeah.
And so...
Yeah, the Universal Slammer.
Yeah, that burrito, so...
Yeah, the burrito.
That's looked good.
So it's not like we have a lot of things that in the U.S. where we are paying for active science. Sure, we used to have Fermi. So you have the Science Foundation, which gives out a lot of money for experience. The National Science Foundation.
NSF.
Which gives out a lot of money for, science research and stuff like that. But it just pales in comparison to our military budget. And, and so I really look forward to the day where science is a lot more money than the military, and we do have space stations in orbit where you can go up there and you can spend a 3-day weekend, orbiting or celebrating the 4th of July or whatever the fuck holiday you want to celebrate. But then also we have other things that are up there that are doing science. And that's how we advance.
We just got to get over our fascination with big sticks.
Unfortunately, that's just rockets. I mean, it's just aerodynamically, it's there for a reason.
I meant in terms of weapons that walk softly, carrying a big stick.
Yeah.
We watched the
saw that.
I know, that's why I
documentary
was tying it in.
earlier.
I mean, I got you. I knew exactly who you're talking about, Teddy Roosevelt. But yeah, it's just okay. Let's talk about space stations. Where did the concept of space stations come from?
Oh, that's a big question.
You don't have an answer.
Well, where did the concept come from?
The concept. Okay, so we can strictly to space stations.
Hold on.
As far as
well done, Federico. Yep. I am a dreamer.
You're a dreamer?
I'm a dreamer.
No.
Yes. Imagine a world. Yep. All right. Anyway, continue. I'm sorry. This is the Mike George show for a moment.
How do we make that segue?
Oh, Jax. Okay, we won't get into it. We'll
go for it. Go for it. This is the Hangover. There are no rules.
Yes.
Yeah,
no, they were. So to quote it.
Pro-lifers were surprised that the IVF and fertility clinics were closed too.
Yep.
But yeah, it's more than just about, a collection of cells growing in a woman's uterus.
Yeah. And Brandon, myself, and Liz, obviously, we all live in a state where it is now going to be illegal.
We just live in the total state of shock.
Well, yeah.
Anyway.
I know.
Anyway, space stations. Where'd they come from, man?
Space stations.
Talk to us.
Oh, God.
Talk to us.
Where do they come from? Where do they go? Where do they...
Who's the Conrad Joe?
Conrad Joe.
So let's start with one of the first scientifically plausible ideas of space stations.
Okay.
We won't go into the fiction side of it because that's a long
little
history.
wacky. Yeah.
I can have a lot of fun with that. But let's start with 1951.
Oh, okay. That is... all right.
Much further back than I thought.
Because in Collier's magazine, Werner von
Were your
Braun...
parents around then?
My dad was born. My mom was not.
She was just...
She might have been. She might have just been. I don't know. Just kind of.
Half of her was there.
Might have been just a. Depends on when in 51. I don't know, but.
It was
Anyway.
The year was 1951 when Werner von Braun wrote in Collier's magazine about the potential of a rotating space station to simulate Earth's gravity. I'm not sure what accent that was. It was Mid-Atlantic, which isn't real.
I know what you were going for.
Yeah, I'm not good with that, though.
No.
So anyway, he wrote in there a potential massive space station that would rotate in a giant ring to simulate Earth gravity. Mm-hmm. And, of course, if you're familiar with 2001 Space Odyssey, that's where the idea originates from.
And it works. It's a legit, way of...
I want to say it
gravity,
works.
Right?
The theory works, yes. But in practice, it's only been practiced once in the Gemini missions when they attached two capsules together by what amounts to a very long string, and it said, hey, let's spin each other around.
Let's spin them.
And
like
they
a
did.
Fucking, what is that medieval weapon that's like the...
A stone and a sling?
Yeah, but there was two of them, and it would fly, and then it would wrap around their legs.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But I was just reading about this earlier, but the sling and the stone is actually a very commonly used weapon back in the day. But anyway, yes, so...
A slingshot?
No, that's pulling it back and launching it.
Yeah.
This is spinning. This is David and Goliath-esque.
Boom.
That's what I was reading.
We all know how that turned out.
Well, it's because it was a fucking gun versus a big guy. This is what's going to happen.
Hit him right here between the eyes, and bam, he goes down.
Yeah.
Facts.
Because Jesus did that.
Well, technically, it was okay. So technically in Gemini missions, we proved that if you rotate each other around, it will simulate the amount of gravity.
Mm-hmm.
So in 51, von Braun thought that idea is, hey, this is great, let's do it. And of course, no funding happens. And instead, he turned its attentions to the Jupiter engines and the Saturn V rocket to get to the moon. And of course, we got 67, 68, 69. We have the Apollo missions to go around the moon and test things like that and eventually land on it. And then 69, I think this was a little before Apollo 11 happened, we realized that the Apollo missions would not continue forever because of budget reasons. It was going to be canceled. Mm-hmm. And so Spiro Agnew, which is one of my favorite names of all time, Richard Nixon's vice president, he was given the head of the Space Task Group to say, hey, after the Apollo missions, what do we do? Mm-hmm. And he gave 3 different options. Option 1 was, hey, let's build ourselves a space station around the Earth with 300 people in there, and then we'll get to Mars by 1975.
Okay.
And the other one was, hey, let's build a space station around the Earth with 2,000 people in it, and we'll get to the moon by 1985.
Okay.
And the third option was, let's just build some kind of contraption, a shuttle, if you will, that goes back and forth and builds a space station with 500 people on it.
So they took number 2, right?
Because and that's why we've been on Mars for the last 30 years.
Oh man.
500 people.
So we took option 3, the shuttle, which is a significantly small
and then reduced that number to 3 to 5.
But going from Braun's idea to 51 to the vice president of the United States saying, hey, let's build, he was very pro-space. He said, hey, let's build a fucking space station with 2,000 people on it. Like, he was very excited about it. And then tax evasion happened, and he was no longer vice president.
Oh.
And then Nixon happened as well.
Oh.
And then Jimmy Carter reorganized ideas.
What year was that? Spiro Agnew was like, yeah, let's do this?
He was, Nixon was 67
Nixon was
72?
68 to 70, 74?
74, okay.
68 to...
Okay.
But then Agnew wasn't there for his second term.
Okay.
So the idea of space station is around 51. They're trying to get it go to 69, and then Jimmy Carter wanted to cancel the space program, but the space shuttle program.
Oh no, not Jimmy Carter.
Well, he was very concerned about events here on Earth until NASA went around and actually talked to the guy and showed him facts and evidence, and then Jimmy Carter changed his mind.
Oh my God, he actually listened to facts and evidence?
Well, he listened to facts and evidence because it was brought to him from a military perspective of being able to launch a shuttle, capture a Soviet satellite, and come back to Earth within 20 hours.
All right, but still, he listened to facts and evidence?
Yes, he did, and it changed his mind, and he said, continue. And then Reagan came along, and there's still this idea of
Fuck Reagan.
Number 1, yes. Number 2, there's still this idea of a space station kicking around, and at this point the space shuttle has been in development for 8 years, well behind development stages.
Naturally, has anything happened on time with
And then in 1984 he announces that he wants to build, within 10 years, Space Station Freedom.
Oh fuck, okay.
Which, by the way, don't name things Freedom, because it's a shitty generic name.
Also, you are literally have no freedom. You're trapped inside a tin can in space. Like,
freedom floating in a tin can.
See?
Far
okay, that's enough.
the
We don't want to
earth.
get a copyright.
But what color is?
They do.
But what color is planet Earth? And what can I do about it?
You have to cut some shit out of this.
No, it's fine.
Don't cut me out.
Anyway, Federico says, if he remembers correctly, Armstrong tried a fast and vomiting rotating spaceship.
Oh, indeed he did.
He did, okay.
I wasn't on purpose.
Okay.
I forget exactly which mission this was, but he went up into space, and their thruster, unbeknownst to him or ground control time, was continually thrusting until they looked up and noticed the Earth spinning faster and faster, which wasn't supposed to happen, until it got to the point where he was about to black out, and then he managed to take control of the capsule himself and straighten it out.
Oh, shit.
This is Apollo 11?
No, this wasn't Apollo 11. This was in Mercury. No, sorry, not Mercury. This was in a Gemini mission. Gemini had 2 because they're twins.
Yes.
2 people in there.
Castor and Pollux.
But yeah, so he was spinning really fast, and
shit.
It came back to his probably blacked out. But they said, if it wasn't Armstrong up there, they probably burned out. And so he's given them one of the Apollo missions.
Wow. Okay.
So yeah, spinning does induce some G-forces.
Yeah, it does, yeah.
But
physics checks out on that.
Yeah, Ride the Samurai at Lagoon.
Oh, God.
No.
Or that one thing that was here for South Ogden days.
But back to the space station, Freedom at the time. So, of course, they weren't working on it. And the Reagan years were fine for space. They kept the shuttle program going. Excellent. Has a fantastic speech about Challenger. But the space station got, some funding. It was fine.
Okay.
Clinton didn't particularly care much about the space program until he finally gave go for the International Space Station. Mainly because when the Soviet Union dissolved, there were a bunch of rocket scientists who wanted the money and would have gone to all these other countries that wanted bombs and then missiles and things like that. And so Clinton and America was like, hey, what if instead of that we build an international space station and keep you guys employed working for the greater good as opposed to blowing people up.
The greater good.
The greater good. And they go, yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah.
And so that's how we got the space station in 1998.
All right. Okay. It's pretty on brand for America.
Space station freedom. So glad that wasn't.
I know.
So glad that wasn't.
The International Space Station is like so many space missions. The ISS is a conglomerate. There are many different plans going through the years. A lot of it taking from Freedom. Some of it's from Mir as well. So they take the best ideas and things and put them together, which is absolutely fine.
Oh, yeah.
But without Freedom, without Mir, without Polysaurus, ISS never would have happened.
Oh, without a doubt.
I mean, Jack had earlier in the comments said that the next one should be Intergalactic Space Station, so that you don't have to change the monogram towel initials.
So
and Beastie Boys as the theme song. Yeah, definitely so.
I like how you took it like it was a nice drink.
Yes, it's a little it's a bite-sized shot. So in a nutshell, there's the history on the space station. And of course, moving forward with the Artemis missions, one of the plan is, as you mentioned in the main show, to have the Lunar Gateway.
Lunar Gateway.
A small, periodically, not stationed, not manned, is not the word I want to use, periodically inhabited station around the moon. I think it was like 5 months out of the year it would be stationed by people.
It's like a timeshare.
It's like a space timeshare. Exactly right. Because it turns out getting to the moon's a little more difficult.
That's a timeshare I would do.
Yes, we'll sign up for that timeshare, all you Vegas timeshare con people.
Yeah, so the plan is to create that gateway around the moon and go from there. Ceding, of course, low Earth orbit to commercial entities, for better or for worse. But still led by the not invisible hand of NASA.
They should build a Stargate.
I agree.
Well, that would be so cool.
Why did we call it the Lunar Gateway when we could have called it Stargate?
Yeah, exactly.
Come on, NASA! Are you a bunch of sci-fi nerds or what?
That was Boeing.
Oh, fuck.
So, all right, so we know that science drives sci-fi and sci-fi drives
it's a reciprocal thing.
It's a symbiotic relationship. Yeah, so how has space stations and pop culture influenced like space stations and actual like real space stations influence pop culture space stations.
Okay.
So
you got this whole thing. So
I got
this
excited
is all
about this because I just thought, as you're asking the question, I had ideas percolate. So if you go back to 2001: Space Odyssey, not the Arthur C. Clarke book, but the movie itself, who's on that space station?
How? That's all that matters.
The one owned by Virgin.
Well, it's just people.
The one owned by Virgin. Yeah, the one owned by Virgin Airways. Because the space station itself was owned by Virgin, then they went to Explore, which had Hal on it. But the initial hotel was owned by Virgin.
Yes, and
bunch of white people.
Well, yes.
Bunch of white people. Homogeneous existence.
I mean, yeah, we're going to make space racist.
And I'm going to say things out loud for a few moments while I Google something.
This is a Planetarium show all over again, where you could just like, oh shit, stuff's not working. I'm gonna talk.
The International Space Station first launched in 1998, and one of the first, actually the first show to feature many different cultures in a single space station happened in 1993. Deep Space Nine. Deep Space Nine inspired the International Space Station, showing not just a homogeneous culture on the space station, but the people of many different cultures together.
The captain was Sisko.
Benjamin Sisko.
That was 1993.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Really? All right.
What a great show.
Yeah, I mean, I really do hope that we can make it to Star Trek days at some point.
Well, we need a World War III before that happens.
And we also need some Vulcans, right?
I'd like some Vulcans.
So, yeah, but...
So, in that sense, science fiction, of course, predated the International Space Station, showing that many different cultures can live in the same place for a long duration of time.
And interracial kissing on camera.
And interracial kissing on camera. I don't know how much kissing on camera has happened on the space station. Not much.
But on Star Trek. I think it was the first one, right?
Kirk and Uhura.
Yeah.
But at the time, Uhura, so was it Kirk or one of them was under alien?
But didn't they change it to like a green lady or something because they couldn't actually show? So they
it was the first kiss between a human and an alien, but it's also but it was also the first interracial kiss. And you can thank Martin Luther King Jr.
You can
because she wanted
to quit, and he was like, "Don't do it. This is amazing. This is a big opportunity."
And Uhura's portrayed fantastically in Strange New Worlds as well.
Oh my gosh, great!
If you haven't seen that,
it's
please watch it. It really is
great.
It's a great one. It really is a great one. I really like that show.
Well done.
I'm very saddened that the season finale was last week or whenever it was. Well, we're watching it tonight. That and Beavis and Butthead.
Jeez.
All right, so what else we got in The Hangover? Any questions from the audience? First of all, I'm on the side. And then let's have an idea.
We'll get that. Babylon 5 fighters were wooed by NASA because of its physics possible design.
Love it.
I never watched Babylon 5.
I haven't really watched it either. I think I watched a couple episodes and then kind of got pulled in a different direction. Maybe that's something that we do. Kind of explore if we can find out what it's on. I don't think that I had like really an opinion as to whether it was good or bad.
I don't really remember anything about it.
Yeah. All right. So the movie Gravity.
Are you gonna rant about Gravity? It's been a while since we've had a Gravity rant.
Oh my god.
So that had 2 space stations in it, right? It had Mir.
And the fucking Hubble for some reason.
It had Hubble with the space shuttle. So that dates it. And you had Mir and a Chinese space station.
I think it was Mir. I think it was ISS and the Chinese space station. Because Mir has obviously been down.
No, but didn't they make it to the Chinese?
It was a Chinese. That's not Mir.
No, Mir is the Russian.
They went to Chinese station and the ISS. There was no, I don't think a Mir was involved.
Oh, I don't think. Somebody look that up. In the chat, look it up. I don't recall ISS being part of it.
Gravity?
Yeah, was it?
No, it was ISS
okay,
was the main
so
thing
ISS
that
was
got destroyed.
Well, the shuttle did. Meanwhile, I am just so apparently I'm so irritated with with various physics facts.
Yeah.
that
I thought Sandra Bullock was working on the ISS.
She was working on Hubble. She was working on Hubble with the space shuttle. So she was with the space shuttle. Here. Okay, yeah, you look it up. She was on the space shuttle. They are working on Hubble. And there was
this didn't come out that long ago. I feel like I should remember this.
Some satellites got destroyed. Okay? And it sent all this debris.
Yeah.
And it just shredded.
She was on the ISS.
It was the ISS.
Yeah.
Okay, so it shredded Hubble. Okay, so Hubble's with ISS. Oh, that makes it even fucking worse. Okay, anyway.
What, drunk?
What?
No, I think Hubble got destroyed separately as part of this cloud of debris.
That's what they were
that was the
first.
Chinese station they got.
That's what they were first. They were with Hubble first.
She, I think, has to make it to the Chinese station, and
she
that's
does.
her only way back.
Boink, boink, boink. Okay, so what I remember is that they were working on Hubble. The debris.
Christopher Eddy mocked the scene with Sandra
She
Bullock
did,
last week.
yeah. So she has a little same outfit on, in the exact same location, doing the exact same pose. It's really cool.
That's great. That's beautiful.
All right, so some satellite something gets destroyed, and just shreds the Hubble Space Telescope and the shuttle or ISS or whatever the fuck it is.
It's ISS.
Okay.
I remember the solar panels getting just like slammed and destroyed.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. I'm with that.
Okay, he buys this, everybody.
I can buy this part.
He's bought up to this point.
Okay. Cool. So then we continue on, and it's like, oh shit, everything got destroyed. Yeah. George Clooney's like doing whatever he's doing.
He's a ghost.
Floating off in space.
Yeah, and 90 minutes later, the debris cloud comes back around. Mm-hmm. Now,
I know. I remember what your issue is here.
Yeah. So my issue is that It is going whatever speed Sandra Bullock is going.
Speed of love.
The speed of love.
55 miles per hour.
Well, 17,000 miles. 17,400 miles an hour, so that she can be in free fall around the Earth.
I was making a speed reference, and I don't know if you guys got it.
No, okay. So anyway, that means that for it to come back around 90 minutes later, it has to be going twice that speed. It has.
Otherwise, it would be in a lower orbit because it would have dropped the friction of the atmospheric drag.
Well, okay, so Sandra Bullock is in free fall around the Earth. So basically, oh man, we gotta take a drink.
Oh, Jack squeaked.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
He jumped too fast.
He jumped too fast. He's a little injured. Hold on, someone is at the door.
Oh man, we're gonna talk about the flag. Are you gonna talk to him? So anyway, Sandra Bullock is in free fall around the Earth with ISS. It's going 17,000 miles per hour. In order for so it takes her about 90 minutes to go around the Earth. Right?
Checks out.
Okay. So this debris cloud, in order for it to come back to her, has to be going twice her speed. Because she's going around the Earth in 90 minutes.
Right.
But this debris cloud leaves her and goes around. So it's actually going faster than she is. So what does that mean? That means that that speed is actually going to take it to a higher, or it has more energy. It's going to take her to a higher orbit. That debris cloud is not going to come back to her.
Well, it depends, because it's only been in single orbit. We're just going to drink a lot after this because of the dog barking. Wouldn't that depend on how big that debris cloud gets?
Right, but even that debris cloud is not going to be as dense as what came around.
Oh, no.
Because what came around the second time was just like that. I know, right? We got to drink Jack. But anyway, because Jack's barking. But he's also a little bit hurt. We played a little football game.
I think we need to watch Gravity tonight.
Oh, God.
We haven't watched that as a group ever. I've only seen it once.
Yeah.
That was like 10 years ago when it first came out.
We also have Beavis and Butthead.
We can do two things.
Yeah, and then we got golf, right?
Yeah.
So, no, we can do it all. But but it comes, even if it expands, that debris cloud is not going to be as dense.
Oh no.
As what?
But fun.
As what they make it sound like.
Fun fact about that movie, its runtime is 90 minutes.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. That actually is really nice.
That's kind of cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, there's just that physics alone was just something I just could not get past. And believe it or not, I actually can. I can't. I don't know what button to push to drink.
It's probably the drink button.
Yeah, but where's it? Oh, Ivalu brought us cherries.
Ivalu brought us cherries, and I'm wearing my Mind Your Own Uterus shirt.
Our neighbor is Ivalu, and she is. She's about 400 years old.
Oh, she told me about her dog again.
She tells us the same stories every time, and we love her to death. And I've actually wondered if, like...
I love Severance.
What?
Sorry.
Having a cherry?
Sure.
And I've actually wondered if our flags were going to bother her. But they would still stay up whether they bothered her or not. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. Because I just feel like you've taken this time for this movie to...
Still on Gravity.
Still on Gravity, okay.
To try to make it scientifically accurate with things. And then just miss it on this key point.
Well, it looked pretty.
I mean,
I saw an IMAX 3D.
I understand.
That's the point of movies. The point is not to be super realistic.
I understand the concept of plot points, but you didn't need this second pass through the... I mean, it's already been fucking shredded by the first
what about
pass.
Second shredding?
You don't... Oh, God.
I don't have drinks anymore.
Well, you have 20... Yes, you have 20 shots.
I'm just gonna...
Brandon's gonna die tonight.
We can have the dogs bark like 6 more times, and we all have drinks. And so, oh, did you mute us?
No.
I just see it's
I have to
muted.
turn
So
the
anyway,
graphic off so I can turn it on.
Space
next time.
stations, gravity, bad physics movie.
Well, yeah, just
And we're gonna
just
watch that
one
tonight,
point.
by the way, Liz.
Gravity.
Apparently, yeah.
Yeah,
We're gonna
it
watch
is
it.
no.
I bet Beavis and Butthead.
We can do both.
Okay.
Because gravity's only 90 minutes long, because it's one order on the earth.
And we can grill chicken and do
Play
golf.
golf? Okay.
In theory, we can do this all. But you did get up every 6 minutes.
I have a question.
Yesterday to check the food.
I have a question.
Yes.
Do I need to not eat this cherry?
Eat the
Oh, wait. Hold on. Drink update from Jack. Drink update. Mix the second tea. Strawberry infusion wasn't strong enough. Going back to red, raspberry, and blueberry.
My God.
Strawberries.
Damn strawberries.
Question for both of you.
Okay.
Mike, we go first, then Liz.
Oh, no.
Would you rather have a space station orbiting the Milky Way galaxy, or a space station orbiting Saturn, which you're in and can look at any single
Saturn,
time?
100% that I'm in.
Mike's
Okay.
going
After
first.
the galaxy is too far away. Then you're just like fucking Luke and Leia that are outside the galaxy looking.
First
at their
of all,
own
they're
fucking
inside the galaxy,
They're outside
and
their
that's
galaxy.
a forming solar system.
Otherwise, they're outside the
You know what?
galaxy. Also,
We're watching Return of the Jedi, I think.
and playing golf and gravity and Beavis and Butthead. I would want to be hanging out with Saturn.
Okay.
I mean, what's the point of being
Oh,
outside the
God,
galaxy? I'm
that's
sure
a
there's
hard
lots of
one.
points of being outside the galaxy.
You would still see the Milky Way galaxy. It's not like it'd
But
be.
also, I mean, that's far. We gotta have a significant upgrade in how fast we can travel
Okay,
through
you.
Oh,
space.
okay.
Okay,
Sorry, that's-
imagine this is I Dream of Genie, and you could pop your head, and suddenly you're there. Yes, that's what it is.
So when I would come home from school, I would watch I Dream of
And
Genie.
Bewitched.
Not Bewitched.
Oh,
But-
Nick at Night was I Dream of Genie.
And
Bewitched,
Bewitched.
okay.
I Love Lucy.
There were 2 shows I watched.
Okay.
Mesh.
That and Gilligan's Island.
Just sit right back and hear a tale of a
Anyway.
fateful trip that started on the desert isle aboard this tiny ship.
Your question's hard. That's a hard one
Wow,
because
I'm surprised you're not immediately with Saturn.
I am.
Okay.
But
But oh god, to be able to see the whole Milky Way.
and then imagine the view outside the Milky Way with all the other galaxies.
Because I have actually thought about what a view it would be to be on a planet inside a globular cluster, like in the middle of it, and
but it would just be stars
and ju-
everywhere, right?
but just an amazing sight, just being able to see the stars.
Could you see
where-
anything outside the stars?
No, so the sun
That's in
was
a globular
set.
cluster,
The
though.
sun was set, and it was still being pretty bright out there. But anyway, just being able to see all those stars, but also to be on a planet kind of out at the very edge of the globular cluster, and so. Like some nights your sky just explodes with stars, but then on other nights you're oriented in such a way that you're looking at the Milky Way. That would just be an amazing view in which to see.
How bright would that
But-
Milky Way be?
But Saturn,
42 light units.
oh no, it's gonna be really bright. It'll be really bright. It's not like the globular
Well,
clusters
if
are very
you're, like,
far.
Yeah, if you're like that.
Yeah, you're not very far from it, and so. And you don't have to worry about the intervening dust between you and it like we do. So that knocks out a lot of the brightness of the center of the Milky Way.
Mm-hmm.
But if you are in a globular cluster, first of all, very old stars, not a lot of dust and gas remaining to create those stars. And so you really have kind of a dust-free look between you and the Milky Way. And so...
What if you're not in a globular cluster? You're just out
Floating in a tin can?
floating in a tin can. You just have like what? You have like a galaxy and then like not a
man,
lot.
you'd be on Galaxy's Edge. Take a drink.
That is, I don't have any. Yeah, I do. I guess it.
No.
Nope.
That doesn't count.
We have options,
We have 30 fucking Jello shots.
but...
Federico says orbiting the galaxy, that a life to have a small change in the view. All in with Saturn. Oh, take a life.
Yeah, I really am all in view with... But the question was, like, I Dream of Genie, where you, boom, you're there.
And boom, you're back.
and boom, you're back. But Saturn really is my favorite planet, and just those rings. I don't know. It's a really hard choice. That is a hard question. But you asked
But
Liz.
you're not on the one that's outside the galaxy.
What?
No.
You said a space station outside.
Would you rather be on?
Oh, okay. I took it as would you rather have
Oh, yeah, no.
a space station out
Oh,
within the galaxy
no.
or be on one?
Totally different question.
Okay, the answer is still the same for me,
Okay.
though.
Yeah. All right. So I missed the answer to this much earlier today. So a question was posed from the kitchen into the living room where it was, "Hey, Liz, would you rather go down to Titanic or be on ISS?" What was your?
Oh no, go to the moon.
Or go to the moon. What was your?
You said moon. What's ISS?
Titanic.
Ooh, there's a difference there.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, you said
because
Titanic.
walking on the moon. I mean,
Walking
oh
on
god,
the
I would
moon.
rather.
And then you even said that there have been more people on the moon than Titanic, and
No,
down
more
to
people
Titanic,
down to Titanic.
down
than
to
on the
Titanic.
moon.
And I was like, "Oh God, really?" And to bring all that shit up.
Probably
The
because
12
you have
people
all
walked on the
the.
moon.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
wouldn't
but
it be
you have-
more than 12 people to go down and get that stuff up? Realizing
No,
that
he's
it's
saying
all.
more people have gone to the Titanic than on.
Oh,
the
I thought you said moon.
I did
No.
say
You said moon.
I thought that sounded right in my head. But you're right, because a lot of artifacts dredged up from Titanic.
Yeah,
So that makes sense now.
yeah. So
By the way, so we all worked at a place, a science center to remain unnamed, that actually had the Titanic exhibit.
and yeah.
And then
You heard them
Liz.
too.
And
Sorry,
then
different story.
I saw both of them. Then Liz and I
Wow.
went and saw it in Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
Those, I mean, it's amazing. You can't look at like glasses
Mm-hmm.
from in this exhibit and not think that belonged to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And these shoes at the bottom, and that not only did it belong to somebody, they probably perished. And it's
You're starting to understand. Me and my Titanic obsession.
No,
fascination.
Are you
Okay.
saying, Liz, that the more you understand Titanic, the more that your heart goes
We'll
on?
go on. Yeah.
I can't do that because apparently we'll get fucking whatever.
You get like 36 seconds.
there is a difference between seeing the exhibit in a low rate movie.
Did you? It won 11 Oscars.
Not as much as Return to the King!
Well,
God damn it, that's a drink!
That came afterwards. I can't. It's broken. My drink button's broken.
What happened?
Now it's gonna go off just like randomly at some point.
Alright, what are we doing? Space stations, how do we get to Titanic? Doesn't matter. What are we doing? Host!
Well, we talked about the pop culture stations, right? I mean, we got off.
Deep Space Nine, 2001.
Yeah.
Like a little blamble on there.
Gravity. We're talking about Gravity.
That's how we talked a lot about gravity.
We talked about Demise of America. Demise of America.
We talked a little bit about Demise of America.
Yeah, so...
Talked a little about cherries and...
Yeah, we got some fresh
Neighbors.
cherries, fresh off the tree.
You know, now we have to give her peaches.
This is your traditional like clip art cherry right here.
Now, if you cut the stems off, what happens? Woo-hoo-hoo! Let's knock that one over there, Davison.
I say that
I almost spilled myself.
it is now time to go fire up a grill. It is now time
Yeah.
to enjoy some movies to celebrate this 4th of July weekend. To mourn America.
More America.
Yes. And thank you for joining us. And we will see you in a couple of weeks. Are you with us?
I don't know.
Okay. Brandon may or may not. I don't
To be
remember
on
what was
assignment
said.
or not.
I think that Brandon might not be with us. But regardless, we are going to be talking about...
I mean, to be clear, I'll still be alive. I just won't be here.
Yes, he's always alive.
Yeah, we're not...
I'm like a metric song.
We're not killing him off on the podcast.
Season finale.
It's the red
That's for the
wedding.
season finale.
Oh, when are we having our season finale?
Do we have season finales?
No, we just kind of... We've been gone for a month. That's
I
what
just
it is.
go like, all right, we're on season 4 now. I think I usually switch new seasons around September, so...
I think it's a real arbitrary thing. But anyway, so join us in a couple weeks. So we're going to be talking about the multiverse. What is it? What is it? Isn't? Thoughts on
Things, random
I'm going to talk about my favorite cool thing about the CMB cold spot, but I won't be able to talk about it, so I'm going to talk about it right now really fast. So, what's going on with this?
Supreme Court is out of session, so we don't have to worry about any of those things.
It's midnight for Frederico, so, you know.
It's midnight.
Yeah, but that's some dedication.
Good and evil.
That's dedication joining us.
Yeah.
So, thanks for joining us. Stay safe, stay healthy. Cheers.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
A boop.
Ba boop.
And a boop.